I would like to convey my special greetings and wishes to all SMA formators and students for this jubilee. I would have very much wished to be there for this great occasion, but unfortunately I was not able to come there, but hopefully I'll come there some other time. The beautiful souvenirs of Bodhija are still in my mind, very fresh. Every jubilee is an occasion to celebrate the past and plan the future. Students are usually very familiar with planning. They plan assignments, research papers, and all that. At the very beginning stage of planning itself, planning a work, you plan the delimitation of your project. That is important because otherwise you'll be scratching the ground in different places, you won't deepen. The delimitation helps us to define the boundaries. For example, if you're writing about Ibadan, at the beginning you talk of the big places in Ibadan. You talk of UI, SS Peter and Paul, Olioro, all these kind of places. And then you look at the place more and start talking about Basharon, Dugbe, Kokodom. When you get into these details, you show that you are an expert. Because expertise is basically about depth. Depth in research, depth in knowledge, and depth in commitment. Now, as SMAs, so missionaries of Society of African Missions, as members and students, we need to see what our delimitations are. What are the delimitations of our charism? Only then we will be able to go deep, we'll be able to focus ourselves and deepen our commitment. There are different views and perspectives on our charism, on our identity. So I would like to present now 5 different views. Society of African Missions is, first of all, committed to Africa, which means we come from all over the world and we work in Africa. Africa is the geographical place of our mission. Second, we can be outside Africa, but we will be for the people of African origin. The article number 2 of our Constitutions and Laws speaks very clearly about this. We are for Africa and the people of African origin, which means it gives us the possibility to go out of Africa and concentrate on mission commitments, provided it is for people of African origin. Now, the third view is a bit more open, bit wider. It speaks of Africa as an example. In this view, the geographical territory is not important, but the need is important. The founder chose Africa not because Africa was Africa, but Africa was the most abandoned. He says repeatedly, Africa has the most abandoned countries in the world. So, different congregations try to interpret their charism this way. If the founder chose Africa in his time, we need to see what would be the equivalent of Africa today, and we need to choose those places and we need to go there. So fundamentally, we need to concentrate on the most abandoned. Who are the most abandoned today? Now, the fourth view would be to concentrate on propaganda fide, because the founder repeatedly talks of our obedience to propaganda fide. We are experts in the mission. We go to places that the Universal Church considers as priority. We have been asked to go to Africa, and we will be in Africa. If the Universal Church asks us to go somewhere else, we should be ready. But here the founder says again that we should not ask with our own initiative. If the Universal Church asks by itself, then we will be ready. The fifth view is that Africa missions through the SMA. This is much wider, and it is also a very new way of thinking. So here, Africa as a continent and Africans as people are not objects of the SMA mission, but are the subjects. Because today we have plenty of African Christians, plenty of African priests, and plenty of Africans in the SMA. So SMA becomes a bridge through which Africa missions to the entire world. So it is Africa through the SMA to the entire world. And that will be the definition for African missions. Now, all these 5 perspectives, 5 views, are actually underlining different dimensions of our charism, of our identity. There is some deep truth in every one of these perspectives. Now, how can we summarize that? We can say that Africa is fundamental to our identity. If we remove Africa completely, we will certainly lose our identity. So wherever we are, whether we are inside Africa or outside Africa, what we do should be directly or indirectly connected to Africa. Now, with this general parameters, let me deepen a bit more on our mission inside Africa and our mission outside Africa. Now, inside Africa, we are very proud to see that the first schools and the first hospitals in many countries were opened by us. In many countries, centers for taking care of our brothers who are lepers, who are ex-prisoners, and those who are orphans, and those who are neglected for various reasons, were all started by us. Many parishes were started by our men. Our men were the parish priests, bishops, archbishops, first parish priests, first bishops, first archbishops of so many places in so many countries. We have a mighty history. A history we can be proud of. A history many places are grateful to. Many countries are grateful to. We can make a similar history. We can leave a similar history for the future, provided we concentrate on our boundaries and go deep. Because expertise is about the depth of our commitment. Many of the things we started in the last century and a half are continued by so many other people. Different organizations are continuing. Governments have taken over a lot of things. Diocesan clergy have taken over a lot of things. So at this stage, we need to ask, what are the cutting edges of the pastoral field today? Where should we go? Who are the most abandoned of today? Though Africa has thousands of priests, there are territories that need our missionary presence. And there are people who are most abandoned who need our commitment. So we need to constantly look for those kind of places and go deep. Let me be very concrete now. Being at the cutting edges of the pastoral field looks beautiful, and at the same time, it is very demanding. Physically, it can be challenging. Facilities are lacking there. And even financially, it will be more demanding. That is why the places are the way they are. If most abandoned places, most abandoned people are most abandoned because there are no facilities, physically it is challenging, and financially it is demanding to be there to support them. That is why government agents will not go there and many pastoral agents will not be there. And that is exactly why we should be there. When we talk of finance and the resources, we have the ability and we have the needed network to bring resources from outside to support our presence and our ministry in these kind of places. And we also have the ability to raise the local income to support every project, to make sure that every project becomes as self-sufficient as possible. And more important than all this is that we have the training to lead a very simple lifestyle. We need all these three in order to survive in these kind of places and in order to flourish in these kind of places. The ability to bring resources from outside, the ability to raise local income, and the ability to lead a very simple lifestyle. Now, if you are talking about outside Africa, SMAs have been bridge builders. We have built bridges between Africa and the entire world. We are not only bridge builders, but we are also bridges. We are the bridges between Africa and the outside world. When we are outside Africa, we continue to be bridges. We continue to be the antennae for Africa. As Christians, we are ambassadors of Christ. And as SMA missionaries, we are also ambassadors of Africa. So all our commitments should be colored with our commitment to Africa when we are outside Africa. Now, with these, we can find ways of deepening more and more. We won't be scratching the ground. We'll be deepening, we'll be digging wells, and we'll take water from there. And we'll deepen our commitments. The future jubilees will celebrate the achievements coming from these commitments.